Ready, set, go. Dribble fast, heartbeats flow. Confederacy, talking show. Freddie and D in the glow. Hoops and jams inside your ears. Slam dunks, no more fears. B-ball chat over the years. Podcast legends, cheers and cheers. Up, down, bounce, come alive. Catch the vibes, feel the drive. In the zone, we will thrive. Freddie and D running five. Hit and roll to the beat. Every game front row seat. Podcast heat, never will retreat. Feel the pulse hit the street. 3-point lines, crossover spins. Basketball podcast for the wins. In your heart, the vibes begins. Freddie and D, we the king.
Freddie and Andy, we the Kings. Go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Confederacy of Dunks basketball podcast. I'm here with my producer and co-host, Andy Hull, and special guest, Matt Mcready. What's up, guys? We're sort of, Andy, are probably kind of used to that insane intro. How are you feeling about it, Matt?
Oh, it was longer than I thought it was going to be when it started.
Yeah, it's long, yeah?
It's not too long, but I was like, wow,
Pretty
it's
long.
going. All right. It's good. It sounds awesome. Like, it's great.
Some people have criticized it, saying there's quite a few endings in there.
Yeah. Well, I've said there's a lot of words.
There certainly is a lot of words, yeah.
And I try to pick up on a new word every time. This time I got Confederacy something show. Early on, it says something. I'm pretty sure it says something show.
That's
so.
great.
Anyways,
if
we
you are listening to this and you think you can decipher some of the words, hit us up in the YouTube comments or write us an email at freddie@confederacyofdunks.com.
Yeah, write us a lengthy email about that, please.
Is that a real email address?
No.
I don't think so.
Could be. We're on
will be
Raptors
one day.
Republic.
It could be.
It could be. There's a Denver Nuggets Raptors game going on right now. So we won't be chatting about that. We're gonna be chatting about the first three games, kind of feeling that out.
We're recording this during that game.
That's
just
right.
To be clear. That's why we won't be talking about it. Yeah.
This is why I'm pointing them to Matt, but this is why I got Andy.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about some Halloween costumes, some NBA white hot takes, and we have a massive, I think biggest guest probably ever for this pod.
Pretty safe to say.
Wow, bigger than Samson Folk?
Yeah.
Way bigger. I mean,
wow.
I don't know.
Samson's
maybe not,
great.
actually.
Samson's great, but this is big. No,
because this guy's huge. This guy's taller, for sure.
Taller, for
wow.
sure. Yeah.
Like in like physical
You're
stature.
gonna listen. Stay till the end. You're gonna want to hear the interview. It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
And everyone's thinking Nate Thurmond. No, he's dead. This person is alive.
Yeah, it's
And
not
well.
Nate Thurmond. And I know there's a bunch of people who probably just like had to like put their head down because they're like, I thought it was Nate.
And they were just like, oh my God, I forgot he's dead. And then they went, rest in peace.
Yeah.
And then for a second they thought, Halloween Miracle?
Oh.
And then they went back to being like, no.
Yeah, a lot of
we don't
emotions.
We don't live in a time of wonders and magic. And then they went
wow.
to bed.
Wonders and magic. Halloween Miracle.
And then they went to bed. So,
what in the whimsy's going on over in Andy's
don't talk to me about it. I wish we lived in a world of whimsy and magic.
Me too.
Okay.
Guys, whimsy, magic. Raptors first three games.
The Raptors, yeah. It's not
Let's just open for them. How the hell we feeling, Matt? Let me go to you first.
Oh, I think I almost feel good, like better than I would have thought about the team, just because they did get like one awesome, fun game. You know, fun in a way a game with 99 free throws could only be. But it was.
I was there, by the way.
Yeah, did it feel long?
Yes, it was a very long game, and can I say that one of the best things ever happened, which was a guy like it was like an unbiased heckle to the refs. So like there was a play, there was a stretch early in the third quarter, I think, where there was just like to get from 12 minutes to 9 minutes took about 45 minutes. And there was just a foul whistle every 15 seconds. And it was like pretty nuts on both sides. And then this guy just like stood up and screamed and he was like, please stop blowing the whistle. And it wasn't like for Raptors. It wasn't for the Sixers. It was just sort of like, it was a distraught man who wanted to see like a more than a 20-second sequence of basketball.
That guy gets an award from me. The Horatio Sands in the to steal a bit from Six Trophies. He gets the Horatio Sands in the Too Much Cowbell sketch when he goes, "He speaks for all of us." When Horatio Sands says that, first of all, very memorable part of the sketch. But second of all, I love when people at sporting events do something like that, where they yell something that we're all thinking, and it's just like, this one heckler does speak for all of us. You know what I mean? Like, it rarely happens, but when it does, it's nice.
Man. Yeah, I mean, other than that bizarre refereeing choice, which seems to be going around the entire league, I feel like it's been a pretty fun season. Like, Shed's been kind of fun. Mobo's been kind of fun. Like, the expectations are in the toilet, but only in the toilet can you learn to truly appreciate the things in life.
Beautiful,
man. The number of times you've said that on this podcast, Matt, it's
often
unprompted. It always is true. It always rings true.
Matt, I'm having fun. I'm having a great time.
Like, really, with the season, are you?
Yeah. I mean, like, I guess, I thought that, like, I think things probably will still be bleak, and, like, the wins and lessons thing will fade hard, probably. But, I mean, the energy in the arena for that Philly game was incredible. Like, there was a lot of people having their moment, and it was really fun. Like, Grady was incredible. Like watching Jameson battle, like, so many times guys like will come up and they'll like, they'll hit a couple shots, they'll have a moment, whatever, but they're trying to play it like, hey, I belong here, this is what I do, whatever. Jameson battle was like, watch me in my peak. And
he was awesome.
He was doing like battle cries. Like, after his and one, he was like, he fouled out in like 14 minutes. It was so awesome. It was it was incredible. It was so fun.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's a pretty, all things considered, like, Grady looks pretty good, Scotty, it's been most up and down a little bit, But you know what? I've can I just, like, one random thing I kind of noticed this year is that, like, I feel like Scotty really crushes teams when he has that physical advantage. I do think, like, that's the biggest hurt for him with Pascal leaving, is that there's less of a opposition, like, physical threat for them to have to deal with. So they load up on Scotty. Whereas, like, if they had like a really good post defender, a really big physical guy, he would at least spend a lot of time on Pascal. But now it's like all Scotty all the time. And so, like, when it comes to a team like Philly, when they don't have Embiid, Scotty's going to shine. When it comes to a team like Cleveland, is like one of the worst matchups for him in the league, he's going to have a troublesome time. So it's just interesting. It's there's a lot of learning opportunities for Scotty this year. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I mean, like, I was sort of saying to a friend, just sort of kind of like the game planning aspect, I feel like is going to be hard for Scotty, and why, I'm so desperate to see him and IQ and like how they can operate together, and I feel like it's just so important to kind of get like like just get an idea of like how they share the court and like share possessions and use each other, blah blah blah. But to your point too, as far as like bad matchups, I do think there's going to be a lot of bad matchups for the Raptors. But you think about Jared Allen, you think about Rudy Gobert. I mean, can't get much worse for a Scotty and a Bruno Fernando. You know what I mean? And a Jakob Poeltl for that matter. Like, I think those guys are not, like, you can't really out jump those guys. You can't outpower them. You can't go over them. And they don't represent most of the league. Like, most of the league does not have like a defensive talent like those guys.
That's fair. Andy, who are you most out of the new additions to the Raptors, who are you most annoyed by early on in the season?
Annoyed by?
Yeah, who are you most annoyed by?
Yeah, dish it out.
Yeah, come on.
Mean,
You can give it.
yeah, right. I can give it. I can take it.
You can't take it, but you can give it. That's what we're here for.
I don't feel annoyed by anyone, to be perfectly
Andy
honest
at
with you.
confederacyofdunks.com.
Yeah, write the emails. Have them come my way across my desk. How about that?
On my desk.
I'd love to see something from your desk to mine.
Cool.
No, I don't know. I'm honestly, I'm not finding myself annoyed by it. I've got
Davion Mitchell's playmaking. That's really filling your cup.
Surprisingly, hasn't bothered me.
Wow,
it's been fine. Like it's hard to be annoyed by a bunch of guys who are supposed to be playing with the 905, and they're filling in, and we're not seeing a real starting, roster here. Like we're just watching these guys, like, be fill-ins and playing, not terribly. I mean, they've had, like you said, they've had some tough matchups, and obviously some of our best guys aren't even playing. So I don't know. How am I supposed to be annoyed? I'm just delighted with guys like Shed and Mobo and like guys like that. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to see them come up and get some time. And I don't know.
Perfectly fair, diplomatic answer.
Who do you think's
the ugliest Raptor? Who's the ugliest Raptor? And if you don't want to answer that, what's the stupidest religion?
Stupidest religion? Christianity.
Whoa!
That's right. The biggest one of all. I'll take it, and I'll take you all down.
Holy guacamole.
I'm not afraid of nobody except for Scotty Barnes Stands. Beautiful man.
Hopefully our big guest later on isn't Jesus Christ, because he's going to be really pissed off.
Can you imagine the get of Jesus Christ? We got him, guys.
I ain't dead, he'll say.
I ain't dead.
I ain't dead
yet. What the?
What? He got something planned for that? What's going on there?
I'll say this is like, it's way too early to be like, Darko, you should play this guy, but I like.
Ooh, a hot take coming in. Who should play more?
No, when it was like Fred and Kyle, I'm like, fair. When it's Shed and Mitchell, I am like, these two players are frankly too small to be on the court at the same time. And neither can really
counterpoint. Who else do they have?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, who else are they going to put out there?
Counterpoint, Jameson Battle, 48 minutes.
Battle, let's go.
48 minutes. Yeah, exactly. 45 fouls, 48 minutes. The clothesline man himself comes into the game, hits some threes, throws some bows.
Mobo's playmaking. How delightful is that? Like,
pretty nice.
I mean, pretty early in his career to be like kind of dishing it out, and like a lot of little kind of like quick interior passes, like for like him on the break is a lot nicer than advertised. Like I sort of just thought this is a guy that is going to be like all energy all the time, hope for the best. He's athletic, right? But like he definitely is court awareness is, if you think about a guy like, say, Precious, right? Mobo is like showing stuff that I don't think
No, his
really
handle and vision is leaps and bounds above Precious. Unfortunately for Mobo, the most disappointing thing from when I first saw him come in was I didn't realize how short he was. I was kind of shocked by how small. When I saw him next to Jordan Poole, I'm like, oh, you're only like an inch or two taller than Jordan Poole. I thought that was a bit worrisome.
Wait, how tall is Mobo? I thought he was like 6'9".
Yeah, but he might be like, how Gary Trent said he was like 6'6",
and he's like 6'4".
Yeah, if that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He just seemed a lot shorter than I kind of expected for a guy who was maybe going to be playing some center, and I don't know if that's realistic at this point.
Fair. I think, are we all very, very happy about Grady? Like, this is a team where there's not a lot of spacing, and he still looks really crafty and good. Like I'm a big believer that shooters just look, the more shooting, the better it is. You think about these like Raptors teams of the past, so whether it's like Gary or Fred or whomever, it's like, if you're like, okay, you're the shooter on the team, you're Steve Kerr, it's really hard versus like, oh, there's like 7 shooters, and you just need 3 or 4 of them to knock down some shots. Like like, with IQ, with, other, even Kelly, Olynyk, like other sort of like semi-reliable. Well, I mean, IQ is amazing, but like other kind of like reliable 3-point threats is really going to help Grady.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
no, go ahead.
Grady is like, to me, like in the opposite end of Mobo, and that I kind of always forget how tall he actually is. Like he's got like if he fills out properly, he could end up being like a power forward.
Yeah, I mean, he also
He's like
his
a solid 6'8".
Yeah, his athleticism is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
My in-laws were just obsessed with how young he looked. They're like, I kept trying to like move the topic along, and they're like, "But he looks like a kid," and I'm like, I don't know. He's young, like
Does he have some kind of a disease?
they didn't go disease territory.
What's wrong with him? Is it a genetic thing?
Yeah,
Oh, man.
no, Freddie,
He's
my dad
22.
too. He says he has a disease too. So maybe it's
Let's do some league-wide takes. It's ridiculously early. All takes are going to be hot inherently. Matt, yeah, what's something that you've seen early on where you feel like is not a nuanced, grounded take, but you're feeling it nonetheless.
This is a take kind of rooted in the Raptors, but like is also a league-wide take. Is that the teams at the very bottom outside of Washington, which is truly putrid, I feel like are a little bit better than we had originally anticipated. And I do think that the Raptors have a chance to be one of the worst 3 or 4 teams in the league in terms of record-wise by the end of the year.
Interesting, yeah.
Like, I think like Portland's like if Portland had like decent guard play, like if Scoot actually like he's looked pretty good in a couple games this year. Like if he actually does make some sort of leap, then they have like a lot of decent fours. Like Jeremy Grant's playing really well. Danny Avdija is decent. Then they have Aiden and Klingon. Like they have a decent like center rotation. Then it's like, okay, well are they like 20 wins bad? Like, I don't know. Like Brooklyn, yeah, they're still pretty bad. Charlotte has looked a little bit friskier than anticipated. Detroit, even though they haven't really won a game, they've been competitive in every game so far, and they look deep and they look like they have shooting. So it looks like the very dregs of the league. And San Antonio looks a little bit better than we had thought. It looks like, yeah, if people are cheering for Cooper Flag, it looks like there's maybe more of a chance of that happening than there would have been otherwise.
Okay.
Yeah, I see what you're saying there too. I there's a lot of teams that I was like, these guys are definitely worse than us. And then there's a bunch of teams where like they're good and they were even good last year, but I'm like, yeah, right, let's see them be good again. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, they are, and in a lot of cases they're actually even better. Which is sad. Because that's not likely to happen for us. That being said, the one thing that I think we've been talking about for a long time on the show is like, when we get to see the full healthy roster, but will that even happen? That's the thing, right? So like, if we get to see if these guys can stay healthy for a bit, it might not be bad, but I do think, Matt, that I think that's more likely the reality. Although there's no way we're worse than Washington. Come on, that's not a
no. I didn't say Washington. Washington is clearly worse.
Yeah.
I specifically left them in Brooklyn out of this conversation.
I mean, we're not getting the flag man, the flag bearer. What do we call him? What's his nickname? You think?
When you have a name like Cooper Flag, do you really need that much of a nickname?
You have.
Yeah, same with Scoot Henderson. Like it's too good.
Yes.
Yeah. Like Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey, who's like a top 3 pick and an awesome prospect. Like Ace is his nickname, but his real name is Arias. Like what an awesome name to just have in your back pocket,
And
Arias,
I mean,
Arias is good stuff.
We've probably, I mean, people probably are talking about this a lot, but like Ace Bailey coming to Toronto would be pretty interesting and fun, considering former Leaf great Ace Bailey, whose number is retired at the Scotiabank Arena. That would be pretty wild to have another player named Ace Bailey.
I didn't know about Ace Bailey. When did he play with like the St. Packs? Did he play with like wooden skates? And...
Yes, dude, 100%. Yeah.
Okay.
He played a long time ago.
Maybe are there any parallels between their games?
I think in the 30s.
Yeah, any parallels?
Was he like a long athletic scorer?
yeah. He could he's quick on defense, great first step.
Great first step. Yeah, back when you could take the skates off and start running around the rink.
That was Ace Bailey's thing for the Leafs. He's a bit of a shoeless Joe Jackson type. Take the skates off, move around in barefoot.
I'm not a hockey guy at all. Do they say first step in hockey?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
Chance.
But
I have a too early take for you. I think that by the end of this year, people are going to be saying that Paolo Banchero is the next great American MVP.
Whoa. Wow, that is
so I think people are going to be like, not Anthony Edwards, not Tatum, Paolo. Because I think he's had sort of this weird career where he's done nothing wrong and only been good. And people are sort of like, what else you got for me? And it's like, I don't know. What's this guy supposed to do? He's drafted first overall, brought his team to the playoffs, made the All-Star and All-Star game in his second year. And it's sort of kind of not flawed in any way. And people are like, yeah, but make me care. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I think Paolo's he's pretty amazing. And I think that narrative is going to turn in his favor.
Interesting. I've always viewed him as kind of like a Chris Webber type, no knock obviously on that. Webber was fucking amazing. Yeah, I don't know if I can get there all the way with he's going to be the great player. I just don't know if he has the shooting for that, but if the shooting makes a little bit of a leap, which it definitely could, then yeah, he could be he's such a huge body and that handle and he's so smooth. Yeah, I mean, I can see it.
My hot take is that okay, this is a really scorching hot take, by the way, especially coming from a basketball fan not living outside of Boston. But Bill Simmons doesn't know what he's talking about. Right?
The coldest take. The coldest take.
So I actually really like Bill Simmons. I always have. I've been a big Bill Simmons guy for a long time.
Sure,
but then he had this he was whatever Ringer podcast it was. I don't remember. They were talking about the Raptors salary breakdown. They did it for all the teams, and they went into the Raptors and they're talking about how much the Raptors are paying Scotty and IQ and Yakapurtle. And they're just like, what's going on? What a mess. They're paying these guys way too much. And it's it's so easy. First of all, it's nuts that a bunch of guys who actually know so much about basketball and the league and how the league works to look at a team like the Raptors and be like, bleh. Because Scotty Barnes, that's how much money he's getting from any team, anywhere, no matter who he's playing for, right? He's getting that kind of big money. Cade got the exact same money, basically, and these are guys who are right there, young guys, very good guys. I've had this take before on the show.
I hate to come to Bill Simmons' defense, but they did preface it by saying the Barnes contract made sense.
Okay, but initially Bill Simmons came down very hard against the Barnes contract, so he's had a change of heart, which is great, which is good. Now we're talking about IQ. Now we're talking about Yakapurtle. But I will now go back to something that I've said on this podcast before, which is someone must play for the Toronto Raptors. Okay, we must have players on the court. They must be professional players, and they must be on some level a caliber that's worth starting. So who would you what would you have us do? In the situation where we made this pretty good trade. We got these guys. We have Emmanuel Quickly here now. We've got Yakapurtle. He's here now, better or worse, whatever you want to say. What do we do? Here's what we do. We put them out there. You pay them what you have to pay them because you have the money to pay them. Let's do it. And this is just how it works, okay? I'm not saying it's a perfect situation, but at the same time, if you just look at this team, you got to be like, well, I mean, they're a young team. They're developing. They have these two guys, so they have to pay a ton, and that's just the way it works. Everyone has to pay their two best guys good money. Do you know what I mean? At this time in their career, it's just the way it works.
Do you think the counterpoint to that would be how did they end up in this situation?
Absolutely. But at the same time, pretty much everyone praised the IQ RJ
trade.
Right.
Yeah, the trade, and everyone was into it, including other people in the league and everything. And we all knew that IQ was leaving New York because he was going to want so much more money. So then you can't be like, oh, what a great trade for the Raptors, what a great trade for the Knicks. You know, OG's there, IQ's here, and then when it comes time to sign IQ, like we all knew the Raptors were going to do, we're like, whoa, he asked for the money we knew he was going to ask for, and a young developing team who needs a point guard decided to pay him. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are we talking about?
The number was pretty high. I remember when the trade went down, me and Freddie were talking about the trade, and Freddie was like, it's not going to be more than $25 million. Like, we were expecting the number to be.
What is it? It's like 33?
Yeah, it's like 33, yeah.
Or, I mean, I just threw that number
I think it's 32.5 to be exact.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was 32, yeah.
Here's what I'll say to you. So here's what I'll say, Andy. Like, I feel like I'm also not coming. I don't like coming to Bill Simmons' defense. I do think though what they're
you guys
doing,
both are, and I got news for you. You're in Simmons' corner right now, and you're gonna hear it through emails that are gonna come across your desk.
Okay, yeah, Matt at confederacyofdunks.com.
Yeah.
But
thanks for giving me my own email address, by the way, guys. It's been really handy.
I'll say this.
It's been here enough. It makes sense.
I think what happens is, you know, when you're grading all the teams in the league, right? You can say like, oh, you're grading on a curve, or like, you know, different teams with different philosophies, blah, 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 different kind of like stages of rebuilding. But ultimately you're using the same metrics. So it's like, yeah, us giving IQ and RJ big money is not the same as Boston giving big money to Brown and KP. Like the higher you get in like the, you know, or the more intensely competitive things get, the higher the stakes are. So, you know, even the whole, like, you know, like maxing a guy out, right? That's 30 guys. And you always hear the conversation of like, oh, you know, that guy's not a max guy. It's like, well, there should be 60 in the league, actually. Max guys. But exactly, you know, I think it's all sort of like built around like, look how much money they're giving the Raptors. I'm like, they're not even going to be good. And it's like, right, but I'm not interested in saving Ed Rogers money.
Exactly.
Or, you know, it's on my ticket. I'm not like being like, oh, you know, I'm a season sealed, or like, I'm going to get some money back this year. You know what I mean? So it's like they have to, and then furthermore, the Raptors aren't a place where it's like, oh, they have like $50 million in cap space, and they stole this major free agent from, you know, like instead of going to the Lakers or whatever. It's like, yes, you know, that money is important on the margins, and like you can outbid players still, of course, but like more often than not, it becomes like, oh, the Raptors spent $2 million more than Portland, and they got Hito Turkoglu, and it's like, great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it's more in that territory. And again, like, you know, that's like,
I think you're really supporting what I'm saying here, which is like, team to team, it's different how much they're like, obviously the Celtics wouldn't have to pay Emmanuel Quickley that much money. That it's not like he's worth that across the league, but like,
and if they did, it would maybe be a big mistake.
Right, exactly. But Toronto has to pay a guy that much, and not even just Toronto. Take any team that's in this spot, a rebuilding team, young players, with the roster spot that's desperately needed, right? Like, so this team has a need that needs to be filled, and it just so happens we saw it. Well, our president and GM saw it. They addressed it in a trade, and then you come through with that, and you're like, okay, well, we're probably gonna have to overpay this guy, but you know that happens it's how the league works. And you can look at your own true boss. You can look at your Boston Celtics and be like, well, we're not overpaying anybody. It's like, well, you're the best team in the league, so it doesn't look like you're overpaying anybody.
Well, I also think like if you look at the Raptors and where they were 2 years ago, and if you just look at like how did they get to this situation? I mean, they lost OG, they lost Siakam, they lost Fred VanVleet, they lost Gary Trent, and they gave up. For those four guys, they didn't get anything that's as valuable as the best thing that we sent out for Jakob Poeltl. Like, that's kind of where we're at with the team, right? So like we're just kind of like going to have to be paying for that for the next few years, you know?
Oh yeah, yeah.
And that's how you end up in a
best
situation where
thing-
we gave up like the 8th
What's the
pick in
best
the
thing
draft.
for Jakob? The 8th pick. So the 8th pick's not better than RJ or IQ?
I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wait a second, RJ and IQ, they're pretty good.
I mean, at that number, I don't know if you could trade that for a top 10 pick.
Right.
But an 8th
right.
pick doesn't necessarily mean you're getting that. But like you would dream of an Emmanuel quickly for an 8th pick. Like that would be great.
Yeah, but you don't have to pay an 8th pick $2 million. You know, you could spend that money on something else.
No,
right?
but you might have to down the road, I guess. Is what I'm saying, right? This is the whole thing. Is like at some point it gets to this thing where it's like, okay, what team is going to pay this person? And when it comes to this type of team, this is what you're going to pay for a guy like that.
Fair enough.
It's
right.
You know,
It's
not to say that no teams deserve criticism about how much they're paying. I just think that specifically it's very tough to criticize a team that's like trying to get out of this hole.
Right.
But to Matt's point too, I think like, you know, and this is me coming to Bill Simmons' defense. The how did we get here exasperated, right? If you're just being like, you know, whatever I think what a lot of people want sometimes is like with it, if a team's like bottoming out, they want to be like, yeah, you're the Wizards, or yeah, you know, you're the Spurs, like you're not even spending money. And I think when you're like a team that has no sort of like clear, you know, your future's not super clear, and you are also spending money, it feels like there's like this egregiousness to it. So yeah, I could sort of see that.
Well, I guess it's more like a lot of teams in the league wouldn't trade for IQ at the contract that he's at. They couldn't afford him. Whereas every team in the league would take the 8th overall pick. Like, I'd be very happy to have the 8th pick in the draft, right? Like, you understand where I'm coming from here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then, yeah. I mean, that's kind of like that's almost like an apples to oranges thing. Like you can't really compare a player whose contract has come around and they've proven themselves to be like a player that could be really good in the league versus just the pure potential of the number 8 pick with $0 attached to it. Like it's just
right.
You can't really compare those things. But
I
get your point though. I get your point.
Would you rather have Edie or Dillingham on the team, or would you rather have IQ?
Depends on what the team needs. I mean, this particular team.
Yeah, I mean that's what we're talking about. Like, I would rather have either one of those guys. Yeah,
I think I'd
actually
actually
the 8th and 9th pick in the draft, right? Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
But also, that's a very specific player to player. I just like that's just like I think if you put me right, like who's gonna have the better NBA career, I would say IQ.
Yep, fair enough.
But that's like also, you know, talk to me in 1 month.
It's definitely like who knows, right? Like it's definitely no one could be certain about this at all, right? So,
but I think guys, it's time though. I think it's time for
it is
it's time for our big guest because he's been hanging out in the wings and he's really excited.
Really weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. Which is weird because
like it's weird to have this big of a guest and to like make him wait. So
yeah,
I mean, I want to bring him on
right
here,
now. So
yeah, he's nearly done that fruit platter we sent out for him. You know.
Yeah.
He's been munching on that.
So Andy, you're gonna go get him. Andy.
Yeah,
right?
So I have to hook up like through just the way like our whole like communications things works. Is like I have to call him he has to call on my computer and I have to patch him through my like sound and everything. So I actually won't be here for this part. I will be a true producer and I will be out sort of behind the wings and you guys will just you guys will see him. He'll pop on. He doesn't have video, so we'll just have like an image here. But yeah, you'll be speaking to him live. Okay, well,
and yeah, we only get him for 5 minutes, so we're excited. Matt, I mean, however you want to do this, we'll just sort of like go question for question. Like,
thanks for trusting me with this interview, Andy. I can't believe you're putting this in my hands. That's so
I trust you very much. You're obviously a guy who's smart. You know your stuff. You know your basketball stuff. You're a funny guy. You're great yes-ander. as they call us improvisers, and I think he'll be able to yes and
they call us that?
our guest.
Ooh, I hope so.
All right, well, guys, I'm gonna patch him through. So enjoy. Here we go.
Amazing. Very excited.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So for those who aren't watching on YouTube, I want to just welcome to your ears. We managed to get Nikola Jokic on the line. Mr. Jokic, how are you? Thanks for joining us here.
Hey, thanks for having me. Yes.
I'm a big fan of yours. You know, we were talking about you a little bit earlier on the pod, not that long, but like we had a couple just different kind of comparisons. Where so are you on the bench right now?
I'm in locker room now, so we are taking a break. It's nice to be here in Toronto, so we're having a good time. I brought some of my horses. It's great.
Wow, you travel with the horses.
Yeah, I
Do you travel with the horses or do you travel by horse?
Good question.
Yes, yes. Well, I ride the horses sometimes from city to city. I take different ones. Some of the faster ones are best to ride. These are my friends, my best friends.
Oh, that's nice. I see you oftentimes in like a little carriage, but when you're traveling from city to city, do you just go like sit on the horses? Like do you ride with a saddle? Do you ride bareback? How do you do it?
Bareback.
Yeah.
Yes, and I'm also bareback when I do the riding. Yes.
Wow. Okay.
This is the best way. You must. This is
you're
the best way.
so you're bareback.
Yes.
And
so
there.
when you say this is the best way, are you a proponent of and let's read between the lines here. Unprotected
no need to read
sex?
between.
Oh
no need to read between any lines. I'm riding a horse totally nude. It's very fun to ride it. It is the best way to ride. The horses love it. I love it. It is not a sexual thing.
That's cool.
It is just for speed. For speed purposes, you will go faster if you are nude. And if you cut all your hair off as well, it will also go faster. It is like swimming, but with a horse and naked.
So, is this a tradition? Did you just sort of did you figure out that you could go faster?
It is science. This is how it works. Everyone knows.
Everyone knows.
Everyone knows the science. Yeah.
It's actually new to me. Like I'll be honest with you, but I mean I trust you. You're a professional athlete and you know a lot about horses. So, can I ask? Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, Matt.
Mr. Jokic, to get back to the season, the Nuggets are off to a bit of a tough start. And as Canadians here, we were a little bit worried about Jamal Murray's performance in the Olympics. He looked a little bit off. Do you have any explanation on why that might be? Or do you have any concerns yourself with the play of Jamal so far?
Yes. Jamal, he's a very good friend. Love him. He's a great guy. But he is eating a lot of craft dinner now. Yes, but off-brand kind, where the cheese is very powdery and it does not mix into a good sauce. It's a little bit harder inside of the macaroni.
Does he make it for you? You seem to have strong opinions about it.
Yeah, and is on brand good?
Is that better for him as a basketball player?
We share the craft dinner when he make it. We eat it together.
So
it's a specific reference. If you don't know, it's okay.
So it sounds like you two have a very close relationship to the point where you're eating most of your meals together. Do you two are your houses in proximity to each other in Denver? Do you travel on the road together? Do you share hotel rooms? Like what's happening here?
Yes, we live together.
Really?
Yes, we live in a ranch together. I live in the ranch house. He lives in the barn.
You make him, or does he choose to live in the barn, or do you make him live in the barn?
He chooses. He loves to live. He loves to live in the hay. He loved the owls. He loved the cats. He liked to live in nature. He's a nature guy. He's from Canada. You have owls here. Yes.
Yeah, we have owls all over the place. So do you name the owls? Do they have any interesting names or personalities? Is there a favorite
Yes.
one of yours or Jamal's?
Yes. We have favorite owls, of course. Number one favorite owl is named Library Card, and
So
Professor-
is there any reason why he's named Library Card?
he looked like the kind of guy who have a library card. You go to the
Oh,
library and read.
he looks like the type of guy that has a library card.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we call him Library Card. One guy we
Okay.
call.
Does he have
one guy-
glasses or like
Yeah.
what's the
Yes.
library card look like?
He
Yeah,
looks
because like
he
most
looks-
owls look intelligent. That's one of the characteristics
Yeah,
of the
yeah.
cartoon. Yeah.
Professor. Yes, he looked like Professor. He would call him sometimes Professor Library Card, but
So-
otherwise we just call him Library Card.
Okay.
He
What
has
about some of the
little
other
glasses,
owls?
and sometimes he wear a tiny hat, like a graduation hat.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Is there
What
is
about-
there an owl that grinds your gears or anything? Is there like an
Hmm.
annoying owl or
Yeah,
are they all
screech
pretty
owl?
good?
Oh yeah, that's it. That's his name, Screech, like from Saved by the Bell. It's
Oh.
basically him.
You only
Yes.
give that
Oh.
name derogatorily. I know why you called him
Yes.
Screech.
It's
And
called
you know, screech owl is a type of owl, so it's a screech owl,
I-
but you named it Screech.
Yes, type of owl who is annoying, little fuck.
Whoa, okay. This is a children's show. This is a
Oh,
children's
yeah.
show. This
You know
show is
what?
only for children.
You did say you weren't going to swear, but we also kept you on deck for a solid 40 minutes. So,
Gosh, I don't know. You know, I am trying to do so many interviews at the same time. So
okay. Well,
But
I think.
I don't also don't care. I don't care about this. I don't care.
Oh,
Wow,
well,
that's pretty rude.
I-
Pretty rude.
that's pretty rude,
okay.
but I do appreciate you
just an
giving us your
interview.
time.
It's just an
Um,
interview. No one cares. No one listening.
Okay.
Can I ask you? So some people are listening. Can I ask you just any plans with your facial hair before you go?
Yep. Yes. Definitely going to do lots of things. You seen the movie Lord of the Rings?
Yep.
There's a couple different. There's
Yeah.
just a couple
you seen
different
Lord
ones,
of the
yeah.
Rings movies? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Twin Towers, you know.
there's several,
Return of the
yeah.
King.
What's your favorite one? What do you like the most?
I like the Fellowship of the Ring because it's
Me
you
too.
introduce
Fellowship.
yourself to all the characters. It's just like world building's awesome. It's wonderful.
Mhm.
Yes, that's the worst one. Yeah.
Whoa, okay. All right. What's your favorite one?
This is The Hobbit number 2.
Okay, so adjacent to Lord of the Rings, but yeah.
Yes,
okay.
Lord of the Rings. Bilbo, he's in there. Yes. Anyways, it's gonna have facial hair.
I
the
like
dwarves.
Bilbo. Like,
You're gonna have
so
facial hair like Bilbo? Is that how?
No,
We-
like the dwarves. The Bilbo doesn't
Oh, like
have
the dwarves.
facial hair.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah,
so,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay. The dwarfs are in Lord of the Rings as well.
No, not the same ones, man.
Yeah.
Different
Okay.
ones, guy.
What
Well,
a journey, but
hey,
what a
hot shot.
payoff.
You don't have you don't know about Lord of the Rings, man. You don't know. Nine
Mr.
dwarves.
Jokic,
They follow Bilbo. They go with him on the journey, incredible journey to go to the mountain to fight the dragon.
Mr. Jokic, I'm gonna have to ask you to leave.
I have to go. I have to
Um,
go.
okay,
I have to
good.
go now. I have
Oh,
to go.
you have to go.
I have to go
okay.
back home to see my horses. They're having a party at my house.
Having a
Okay, well,
party
you're
in the house.
in. Yeah, you're in a
I let
game
them
right
have
now.
it.
So
I let them have parties, just them in the house.
thank you so much for your time, Nikola
Don't you want to
Jokic.
know about those?
No.
Okay, I have to go. I have to
No,
go.
you know what? We don't.
Yeah, we gotta let you go.
Wow. Hey,
Wow.
he hung
Andy,
up. He seemed angry. Was everything okay?
You know
No,
what? The interview went pretty bad. Like,
It was-
it
Oh
got
my
pretty
god.
It got
got
pretty
ugly.
antagonistic fast.
It got ugly.
No.
Yeah, well, the
He's-
Lord of the Rings.
He's a
part's
tough guy to
not
talk
good.
Yeah.
to. I know a bit, but
But
He was kind of rude, but really, we were also very rude to him as well.
We got rude. Yeah, we
Oh,
interrupted him a lot.
guys.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he's not used to being interrupted like that. Great app, fun times, go Raps. Maddie, what's going on? You got any fun goings ons?
Well, yeah, it's Halloween season, which means I'm going against the grain. This Saturday night, Beer Comedy Show celebrates Christmas. That's right, one night only. Come in Christmas gear, and you get $2 off your ticket. But you must have 5 or 6 pieces of apparel, all Christmas themed, on your person. And I'm not talking about Santa Claus. I'm putting the Christ back in Christmas. You must have 6 or 7 crosses draped over your body. Andy thinks it's a dumb religion, but I think it's the religion of beer. Beer comedy show only at the Danforth.
Incredible. Incredible.
That was
incredible.
pre-recorded. That was really good.
Yeah, that was
really
pre-recorded.
solid.
You just pushed play on that, right? That was
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah. Really good.
Andy, at trivia night? What's up?
Yeah, this trivia. Listen, if you're listening to this on a Tuesday, well, that means trivia is happening on Wednesday. And if it's the Wednesday I'm thinking of, last Wednesday of October, it's a horror movie trivia night down at the Smith House. So come on down for
Whoa.
that. And yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm there the last Wednesday of every month, so check that out. And just hey, come over to Comedy Bar Danforth. Check out Crush Improv. I'm there a lot of the times. Catch 23. I'm over there as well, over at the other comedy bars. So yeah, check out those places.
Andy
Beautiful.
is killing it.
That's
Yes.
right. Just like the Roman soldiers killed Jesus Christ.
Oh, dear.
Did they? Is that how that happened?
Well, I was going to plug my stand-up show. November 14th at Teddy Beer, 7 p.m. Maybe we'll talk about Jesus.
Yeah, don't pretend like you don't talk about Jesus over there. Come on.
Yeah, we'll talk about Jesus a bit. But
It's not a comedy
Guys.
show if you're not spending most of the time talking about Jesus Christ.
As we
That's true.
as we proved here today.
we made
What?
it. Like, subscribe. Raptors Republic. Peace out.